Hi everybody, my name's Holly and this is Tiger Library Home. Today I'm going to be sharing a story with you that I learned from the renowned storyteller Margaret Read MacDonald. The name of the story is Grandfather Bear is Hungry, and it can be found in her book, Teaching with Story. Now this is a story that I learned many years ago and I have modified it to become my own, but I still wanted to ask permission from her, which I received, to be able to share the story that I learned originally from her. Grandfather Bear is Hungry. Now there's going to be something that kids, we do quite a lot. I'm going to have you do it before I even begin the story so you know what we're going to do. We're going to use Grandfather Bear's voice. We're going to rub our belly and we're going to say 3 times, I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. Can you all say that with me in Grandfather Bear's voice? Let's do it. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I think you guys have it. There's going to be something else too that you will learn, but it'll be later on and you can just follow along with me as we do it. Grandfather Bear is hungry. Grandfather Bear woke up and it was spring. What do you think the Grandfather Bear said? I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. Now Grandfather Bear looked off into the distance and saw a berry patch. So he lumbered over to the berry patch and he bent over into the berries and scrabbled around. I say berries, but actually it was just a patch. And the berries were not ripe. It was too soon in the spring. And so Grandfather Bear said, what? I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. And he looked further into the distance and saw a river. Now kids, what swims in rivers that bears like to eat? I bet that you probably said fish or maybe even salmon. And if you said that, you were right. So Grandfather Bear lumbered over to the river and very slowly and gently and quietly lowered his paw into the stream. Why do you think that he did this? He stood very, very still, didn't move. Grandfather Bear was hoping to catch fish as they swam by in the stream, and he stood patiently there for a while. But no fish swam by, and he said, I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. And he looked off into the distance again and saw an old tree trunk, and he thought that in a tree trunk there must be bugs and grubs and that sort of thing that he could eat. So he lumbered off up the hill into the tree trunk and he shook it, 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 shook it. But inside it was Little Chipmunk, and Little Chipmunk's home was being shaken and shaken and shaken. And Little Chipmunk came out and said, oh, Grandfather Bear, what are you doing? This is my home. And Grandfather Bear said, I am so hungry. I am so hungry. I am so hungry. And Little Chipmunk said, well, Grandfather Bear, you needn't do that to my home. I have plenty of nuts and berries to share with you. So this is where you kids get to participate again. Chipmunk ran down into their trunk, scooped up some nuts and berries, sucked them into their cheeks, ran back up, spit them into their little paws, and said, here you go, Grandfather Bear. And Grandfather Bear took the nuts and the berries and said, well, thank you, Little Chipmunk, but I am still hungry. I am still hungry. I am still hungry. So what do you all think Chipmunk did next? They ran back down into their trunk. They scooped up some nuts and berries. Here you go, Grandfather Bear. And Grandfather Bear took some more and said, well, thank you, Little Chipmunk, but I am still hungry. I am still hungry. I am still hungry. So Little Chipmunk went right down back into her trunk, scooped up the nuts and berries. Here you go, Grandfather Bear. And this kept on going for a while. Here you go, Grandfather Bear, for a while. Here you go, Grandfather Bear. And it went on and on and on and on. And finally, Grandfather Bear said, well, thank you, Little Chipmunk. I finally have had enough to eat. So then Grandfather Bear scooped up Little Chipmunk very gently and said,
"Little chipmunk, to thank you for your kindness, I want to give you a present."
Very gently, Grandfather Bear raked his claws down their back, and what was left was 5 black stripes. So now, whenever you see a little chipmunk in nature, you will think of the kindness paid to Grandfather Bear by Little Chipmunk. And that is